Now let us read about Tom Kitten and his sisters. This is a story about Tom Kitten and his sisters who go to town. Once upon a time there were 3 little kittens who lived with their mother in a little house at the bottom of a garden. There was Tom Kitten, who was very adventurous and liked exploring new places. And then there was Pat and Bat Kitten, who were identical twins, and were always getting into mischief together. The 3 kittens were always curious about what lay beyond their garden walls, and one day they decided that they were going to go exploring. "Oh, we'll be fine," said Tom Kitten confidently. "I'm sure it will be fine," said Pat Kitten, although she was just a little bit scared. "I don't want to go," said poor little Bat Kitten, but her sisters had already dashed out through the cat flap before she could protest. The world outside was so much bigger than the kittens had imagined. They soon got lost among all the houses and streets. Pat and Bat clung tightly to each other as they walked, but Tom Kitten was soon bounding ahead of them, leaping over the low garden walls and chasing after butterflies. It wasn't long before the kittens came to a big, busy road. Tom Kitten wanted to chase after a butterfly that had flown across the road, but he knew that cars zoomed along here, and he didn't want to get run over. So instead he waited until there was a gap in the traffic, and then he ran quickly across the road. Meanwhile, Pat and Bat Kitten were terrified of the cars zooming past. They crouched down on the pavement and refused to move until the traffic had gone. Then they carefully made their way across the road, staying as close to each other as they could. On the other side of the road, Tom Kitten had found some children playing, and he was having great fun chasing them around. But soon he started to feel a little bit scared. There were so many people and dogs and cars, and everything was so loud and busy. He called out for his sisters, but all he could hear was the noise of traffic. So he started to walk along the road towards home, calling out for Pat and Bat. Poor Bat Kitten was frightened, and she kept hiding behind bins and trees whenever a car went past. She really wanted to go home, and when she saw Tom coming back towards them, she called out to him, "I want to go home." Pat Kitten was also getting a bit scared, but she tried to be brave for her sister. She said, "Don't worry, Bat. We'll find a way home. Let's just keep walking along this road." But just then a dog came bounding towards them, barking loudly. Bat Kitten was terrified and she hid behind a bush. Then a man came over and asked if she was lost. "I'm looking for my sisters," said Bat Kitten. "They've gone off exploring, and I don't know where they've gone." The man smiled and said, "Well, don't worry. I'm sure they're fine. They probably just went to the shops or something." He stroked Bat Kitten and said, "There's no need to worry. I bet your sisters are waiting for you at the bottom of a garden somewhere." Just then, Tom Kitten came bounding along the road, and he was delighted to see that someone was looking after his little sister. "Don't worry, Bat," he said. "We can go home now. It's easy to get home from here." And the kind man led the kittens along a little path that went behind all the shops. Soon they were out of the busy part of town, and the road was much quieter. The kittens thanked the man, and then ran along the road towards home. As they were making their way along the road, Tom Kitten suddenly spotted a little brown mouse darting across the path in front of them. "Oh, I'm going to catch that mouse," he said, and off he shot. Bat and Pat looked at each other. They had been walking for a long time, and they were both tired and hungry now. "Let's carry on walking," said Pat. "We must be nearly home by now." But just then, Tom Kitten came bounding back towards them, out of breath and rather sheepish. "I lost sight of that mouse, and I think I might have taken the wrong road," he said. "I'm sorry. I didn't mean to lead you the wrong way." "Never mind," said Pat. "Let's just keep walking. I'm sure we'll find our way back. It's easy to get home from here." The kittens walked along the road, but soon they came to another busy road, and this one had no pavement. They had to walk in the middle of the road, and that made Pat and Bat very nervous. But Tom Kitten was bouncing along happily, not seeming to care at all. Just then, a car came zooming along the road. Pat and Bat clung tightly to each other, but Tom Kitten stood his ground. The car slowed down, and the driver wound his window down. "Are you lost?" he asked kindly. "Yes," said Bat Kitten. "I'm looking for my sisters. They've gone off exploring and I don't know where they've gone." The driver smiled and said, "Well, don't worry. I'm sure they're fine. They probably just went to the shops or something. Hop in the car, little kitten, and I'll drive you home." So Bat Kitten got in the car and the driver set off in the direction of the town center. Soon enough, Pat and Tom came bounding along the road, and they waved to the car as it passed. "Come on," shouted the driver. "Get in the car, you two. I'll take you home." And soon all three kittens were safely at home in their warm bed. They snuggled up to each other and purred with happiness. "Oh, I'm so glad to be home," said Pat. "I never want to go exploring again." "Me neither," said Bat. But Tom Kitten had a different view. "That was an exciting adventure," he said. "I loved it. Let's go exploring again tomorrow." But Pat and Bat just shook their heads. "No, thank you," they said. And that is the end of the story. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this story, please leave a like and subscribe for more content. And if you have any stories you would like me to read, please leave them in the comments below. I would love to hear them. Thank you once again for watching, and I will see you very soon.